This is the new CLA45S, and it's the new iteration of a long overdue update on the very popular AMG made 4-door sports sedan. Now they've done some incredible things here, most notably with the design of the vehicle. As you can see here, the last model, which was known for its swooping rear end, which I personally didn't like the design, they've completely redone the back end of the car. It looks a lot better. It looks very clean and modern. You can see here the fake exhaust down the bottom. Overall looks great, especially in this metallic grey color. But that's not the only thing they've done. Look at the brand new interior. It looks amazing. They've got the brand new interior that they rolled out in the A-Class first of all, with the dual touch screens and the ambient lighting, and it's really one of the best interior car designs today, if not the best on the market. And it's just awesome that you can get it in one of the lower end, granted AMG models, but it's not just in the S-Class. In fact, some of the best technology is coming to these base models with Mercedes. I think it's great for the industry. It looks fantastic. Here you can see a head-up display as one of the options, as well as the ambient lighting and the AMG steering wheel with little switches, colored switches, where you can change to your race mode, your sport mode, as well as having some custom buttons on the side, which you can program. And you can see on the right-hand side that the screen is changing as you change it. So you can change your exhaust on this side of the wheel, your suspension, or just customize it to a certain button. Really cool, looks awesome, I love it. Before we get ahead of ourselves, we need to review the car. So I'm going to look at the car in the normal way. So I'm going to give it a score from 1 to 10 in various areas, starting with looks. So first of all, I love the way the new CLA45 looks. It looks like a baby GT63. I love the new Panamera grille, makes it look really aggressive. You've got the dents on the hood, which makes it look quite aggressive. The new lights look awesome. Everything's real. The lights look awesome. The grills are functional. Everything just looks really good, really aggressive. It's a good size. I love the wheels on the car as well. Really good colors, of course, as with all AMGs. Awesome, good size brake calipers and discs. Overall, I think what they've done with the looks is fantastic. I'm rating the looks really highly. I think it looks really good. I'm going to give this an 8 for looks, I think. I think what they've done with the rear end of the car definitely looks a lot better as well. It's probably not the best design at the back. I like the way the front looks a lot better than the back, but compared to the last version, looks so much better. And that swooping lines with all the CLAs, they've managed to make it look like a really good car. Love the rear diffuser as well, with the dual exhaust pipes at the back, and the new lights make it really look good as well. So overall, looks one of the biggest strengths of the car. So let's move on to the interior. So I mentioned before the interior in the new Mercedes, and not just this CLA45, but in a lot of the new Mercedes today, one of the best, if not the best, interiors on the market. Just the level of technology that you get in terms of the dual touchscreen displays, the awesome steering wheel, the ambient lighting, everything just looks fantastic. Probably the only improvement point's just the use of piano black just in the central console and around those little air vents that you can see on the right hand side, but a lot of car manufacturers do that these days. And of course you've got the yellow leather stitching around there. Overall, the cockpit looks amazing. I'm not sure what other than the piano black I can give as an improvement point. Maybe the seats need a bit of improving. I think the M3, M4 seats look a lot better than the ones in the CLA45. So probably just a few improvement points. I like the central console, the way it opens up like that. That's really cool. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Not a lot of improvement points, but there are a couple in there. So let's move on to the engine and the power. So for the new CLA45, they've completely redesigned the 4-cylinder 2-litre engine, and it's truly remarkable what they can actually do with this. I think it's the most powerful production engine ever created, basically. So the S version's got 310 kilowatts at 6,750 RPM, and and it's got 500 newton meters of torque, and it sends outputs to an all-wheel drive, 4 wheels via 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. So Mercedes says that they can get from 0 to 100 in 4 seconds flat, which is slightly slower than the A45S, which uses the same engine. It's just weight and aerodynamics which are slightly different, so 4 seconds flat. So that's crazy acceleration from a 4-cylinder. Like, that's what you're getting from a 6 or 8 cylinder in other cars. It's crazy. And from what I've seen online is people are actually getting even better than that. Like, they're getting 3.9 seconds, 3.8 seconds in the 0 to 100 sprint. So this is a seriously fast car, and it's all from a 4-cylinder turbocharged. So it's running a lot of pressure in there. I do kind of worry about reliability. Mercedes are guaranteed it for 250,000 kilometers. So anyway, those numbers are crazy for acceleration. We're going to give it a 9 for acceleration, but given it's still a 4-cylinder, we're going to give it an 8 for power. So let's move on to practicality of the car. So of course it's got 4 doors, which adds a lot of benefit to the car. Much better than a coupe in terms of practicality. It's got reasonable size boot space as well. It's got a lot of cubby holes and storage space. It's got all these buttons over here and storage space in the main area. A lot of cup holders, and it's got a sunroof option as well. It's got a lot of features overall. So in terms of practicality, I'm going to give it a 7.5. It's fine. It is a small car. There's probably low headroom overall for some of the taller passengers in the rear seat. Maybe give it a 7. Round it down to 7 actually. Okay, so moving on to cool factor. At the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of these on the road. With the last model, there was always a bunch of CLA45s around. They weren't anything crazy special. They weren't head turning or anything like that. It was just oh, you've got a CLA45, that's a nice car. That's about it. These ones are still pretty new, so you're still going to get some head turns. And the exhaust noise on these are pretty muted compared to some of the BMWs, especially with the new E regulations. But yeah, look, the design's really cool, and the interior is awesome, like best in class. So if you have anyone in your car, it's definitely gonna, get some, wow, this looks really good inside. So it's definitely up there in terms of cool factor, but it's not quite at that next elite level of, say, an M BMW M or a supercar or anything like that. But the interior and the new styling does definitely help. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for cool factor. Now moving on to quality. Quality in the Mercedes lately haven't been that great. Like, you can press it around on a few different things in the cabin and it's going to feel squeaks. You're going to hear some creaks and squeakiness. And I really do worry about reliability of these new 4-cylinders, because they're just, to get that amount of pressure from a 4-cylinder, what they have to do is they have to load the turbos up with so much power. It's like doing a tune on your engine. And I think what we'll see down the track, in 3 to 5 years, even maybe a little bit longer, is we're going to see a lot of blown up engines, because yes, while Mercedes is guaranteed these engines will run to 250,000 kilometers, I am worried about how many engines are going to blow up just from running that amount of pressure. You see it all the time with tuned engines. So I'm going to give the quality factor a 5, just because I'm worried about the engine reliability, and also the quality of the interior builds is declining in Mercedes recently. Now moving on to value. So there has been another price increase with the new CLA generation, and they are getting quite expensive. They're over 100 grand in Australia. Not quite sure what that is in the US, but it'd be a fair bit cheaper because we have luxury car tax over here. But for a 4-door car, you're looking to spend 100 grand. That's a lot of money for something that's quite a small sedan and it's got a 4-cylinder engine. So I'm not thinking it's the best value, but you do get a lot of additions inside in terms of the high-tech cabin, sub 4 second acceleration. So I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10, just because it is so expensive for what you get. And then the next category is daily driver. So it's got 4 doors, it's got adaptable suspension, and because it's a 4-cylinder, you probably get reasonable fuel economy. So I'm going to give this car a 7 out of 10. And then finally, X factor. So this is just something that, you don't know how to describe it, but when you see the car, it speaks to you. And I think the way the car's been designed, it does have a lot of X factor. I can't go past the fact that there's going to be a lot of these on our streets. There's going to be a lot of CLA45s everywhere. So it's not going to be super special, but there is something about the way it looks. It does look super mean. It does look super aggressive. It looks like a mini GT6. So I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10 for X Factor, bringing us to a total score out of 10 of 100 of 72 out of 100. Here we have our final scoring for the CLA45S 2021 model. So for looks, we're giving it an 8 out of 10. Interior, 9 out of 10, best in class. Acceleration, 9 out of 10 for getting sub 4. Power, 8 out of 10, still strong, but it's still a 4-cylinder. It's only turbo, so you're not going to get that straight linear power or that overtaking power like you would in the M3 with its big, strong inline 6. Practicality is 7. It's got 4 doors, which is good, but it's got that sloping roof line, which makes it a bit difficult for taller passengers. Plus, it's quite a small car. Cool factor is 7, so it's still got that X factor. Looks quite mean and aggressive, but probably doesn't look as cool or have that legacy as the M series, for example, in the BMW's line. Quality is definitely hurt by number 1, reliability of the engine, and number 2, build quality of the internals. 6 for value, just because it's quite a lot of money for what you're going to get. Daily driver is 7. It's got 4 doors. It's a small 4-cylinder engine. It's going to get good emissions, good fuel economy, and it's got adaptable suspension as well. And X factor, there's something about it. It looks really good overall. It's a really good looking car, but there's just something missing, I think. Maybe it's just a commonality of it. There's going to be quite a few of them on the road. But yeah, I'm just going to go with 6 for that one, which gives it a total score of 72, which is 4 lower than the M3. Let me know what you thought, if you'd give it a different score. But that's what I've gone with. But yeah, let me know how you go and what you rated this car, and if you thought it was better than the M3. And let me know in the comments down below what car you want me to review next.